Howdy y'all, Stock Warden here, back with another video. And today's we're looking at JOBY Aviation. Now it's been a little bit since we've looked at this stock in specific, but it's because this stock has had a huge leap and bound over in November whenever they decided to put in a complaint against Archer Aviation stating that Archer Aviation was able to obtain trade secrets from JOBY Aviation via an old employee of JOBY Aviation that Archer was able to hire. So since then, the stock has kind of had a little bit of a tumble. There's been some different speculations and different news articles that has came through, and here we have just received quite a few different analysts that hit on top of this stock. So we're going to go ahead and kind of talk about that a little bit, and also on why some of the sentiment is so negative for JOBY Aviation here in the next short term. So as it stands right now, on the largest portion of everything, Goldman & Sachs analyst Anthony Valentini initiated coverage on JOBY Aviation with a sell rating, and they announced a price target of $10 a share, which the company has closed just this past Friday at $14.85 a share. So that's pretty hard on a large dip to be able to go from almost $15 a share all the way down to 10. That would be a huge loss where you're looking almost into a 30+% drop in the overall stock price. Now, on a lot of the other analysts that have came in for JOBY Aviation, not including the NYSE, you also have Bazinga and a couple of others. JOBY Aviation has a full consensus price target of $12.50 based on ratings of 8 separate analysts from 8 separate companies. The highest sentiment that they have is set at $22 a share, which was issued by Needham on November 6th of 2025. Now, that was the upside and the highest price target that JOBY has to date, considering their highest high that they have achieved, not closed at, but has achieved, was $20 a share and 95 cents back on the 4th of August. So, but they also, Needham did this on November 6th, which was before the November 18th, where JOBY had turned around and put in their full complaint and also court documents against Archer Aviation. Now, the lowest is $6 a share, which was issued by Deutsche Bank on July 5th, 2023. So that's been quite some time ago. Back in July, the stock was somewhat underperforming, but it was definitely showing promise where it actually had a huge jump in July. If we look back over here, where the stock had been initially underperforming in the month of June, only playing just a little bit in between your $7 to $9 a share, just going up and down in these instances as they had previously. But within the month of July, they ended up skyrocketing all the way up into the $15 to the $20 range right into the beginning of August. So they haven't ended up making any comments since July the 5th, so that's why they just have them set to the side on the lowest end of things. But it's still there, and they haven't redone their stance on JOBY Aviation. So unfortunately, it's still relevant that there is that price target as low as it is. Now, the 3 most recent analyst ratings were issued by Goldman Sachs, like I just talked about, Needham, and JP Morgan on December the 1st. So whenever that happened, respectively, The average price target between the three is 13.33 between all three different sets, which is only a 3% downside for JOBY Aviation from its most recent analysis ratings. So in that sense, JOBY's doing a pretty good job of holding on to a good price target for where they're at with the company. They have had some pretty big losses here lately for their Q3, Q4, or I'm sorry, the Q4 hadn't came out yet. The Q2 and Q3, they had pretty huge losses from their companies, but it's only due to them trying for expansion. So with JOBY trying to completely hone in on vertical integration for their eVTOL systems, they are able to try and come in to boost their company even greater with better technology, better designs, and also for a safer drive, considering they are trying to jump into head first on being the first to get off the ground and have these FAA permitting and also contracts to be able to start moving people and making a full profit in being a commercial entity. So, but none of that has happened just yet. They are still kind of in the aerospace lull because the FAA is not putting out a whole lot right now, because the entire aerospace industry right now is still kind of up in the air, and also taking a back step and holding all of their cards with a lot of the issues that we've had here lately, where Boeing had to recall a huge number of their airplanes to be repaired before the holiday traveling had started. Then you also had the couple of recent crashes that have happened with planes as well. So it's really put a very harsh look on any type of aviation stocks at all, to really be able to think, okay, if I have a smaller plane with less people, is it actually going to be more worth or not, going back and forth, having more flights on a small eVTOL system than having, less monetary flights on your larger stream jets that you see from all of these various aviation companies. So the stock is still kind of fluttering a little bit. It's staying roughly within its resistance line, which they are holding a really good resistance line right here at about the 475 marker. So that 475 marker has pushed out quite well, where if you're looking where it starts and you pull it all the way back right about where it was starting at, you can see that this resistance line kind of goes all the way back into July, and it holds a decent line for a top and a bottom end all the way across this. But if you look this far out, it is still showing a bull flag. So whenever you have this stock where it's slowly coming down into this bearish trend, where it's having its decent peaks and decent valleys, and now it's starting to flutter into itself, the stock is either going to continue to flutter into itself and jump back up again, or the stock's going to continue to flutter where it sits and start dropping again, to furthermore continue on this large flag that we have here coming up into the top and bringing it all the way down. So this would show to complete the flag on the bearish trend of things, but for the short term, it's more than likely, with the history of this stock and the trend and the new sentiment, that it is possible for us to start seeing a bit of a bullish trend out of this stock, because we are finally coming to a pinch point here on this flag. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and this will be JOBY running for their new aviation class. So they still aren't really getting too much further into the FAA contracting. So we'll just have to see as time goes on how this stock holds up along with their contracts that they still unfortunately have yet to receive. And then we'll also kind of have to wait on the news to see how their fight with Archer Aviation turns out, because that can drastically affect this stock whether it comes out good or bad. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe to be able to keep up with all the new videos that are coming y'all's way. So this is the Stock Warden riding off. So y'all come back now, you hear?